Welcome back to Faith Forward, where faith meets real life. I'm your host, Deborah Asma, and today's conversation is one we all need at some point on our faith journey. What happens when we fail publicly or privately? Can our faith survive such a wreckage? In today's episode of Faith Forward, we explore the theme, Faith After Failure. And I have with me as my guest, Mr. Yao Buohene Oseng, who has seen it all. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
I think that we all have our moments of failure. But like everything in life, there is the normal one where you just navigate through without any changes and then you move. And there are those that define you depending on which path you decide to take afterwards. This might be or seem like a redundant question considering the theme and the reason why you're here. But do you think you have failed before?
Yes. I mean, where I went and where I am now, I can define it as failure and now success. So I believe I failed before, but I failed for a reason. And I'm so grateful that I failed when I was young, not failed when I was old.
In hindsight, you can look back and say the time of that defining moment worked to your advantage.
Exactly, because I had time to readjust and make amends to where I failed or the years that I lost.
Time is an important factor in this conversation.
Exactly my point.
Please can you tell us a little bit of yourself?
Okay, so like you said, my name is Yao Buohene Oseng, and I hail from Mekrapim. My father's from Mekrapim, half Achim, half Mekrapim. My mom is Fanti from Cape Coast, and I come from a family of 5. I'm the third. I went to Dex Preparatory School in Tema.
Okay.
Where I did
You're a Tema boy.
Yeah, originally, you understand. So I did my common entrance there, and then I went on to Presec Legon, not that year. I went to do my O-levels and my A-levels. So if any other day who comes across this, I'm doing this for you guys as well. And then I finished my A-levels in 1995. And then I went on to University of East London, where I did business law and economics. So from University of East London, or in University of East London, that's where the real story began. I don't want to go into it. I want you to lead me, you understand? So partly the story began in Presec, but then it really exploded when I got to London, you understand?
There's a title that I left out in the beginning of the introduction. I think this is the right time to fit it in.
Yeah.
Considering you're talking about the past and now the present, you are also a reverend.
I'm a pastor. Reverend is higher than me.
Okay, so you're a pastor now.
Yeah.
So you have your Mr. title, but after the failure, I'm presuming that your ordination happened after your failure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Presec, interesting fact.
Yeah.
All the Odad years here, please. No more noise. What course did you study at Presec?
Okay, so I did business.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't too good with science. I was good with arts and business, but then my mom really wanted me to do the business because of the nature, my temperament and the way that I was. She said, you're going to be a very good businessman, so I think you should delve into the business aspect of it, which I did, and I really enjoyed it.
Then I'm guessing you're a very curious person as well.
I am.
And curiosity, they say, kills the cat. And I'm guessing that's where your story starts from. High school is always a defining moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
You were in boarding, I presume?
Oh, yeah. I was.
Okay.
I was in Labone and Reese House 5.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
What were some of the significant moments in your boarding experience or in your time at Presec that you feel started you off on a trajectory that, catapulted in all the other negative experience or things that you went through?
Okay, so I think, with the boarding house, not today's boarding house, then, like parents go and leave us there. And I mean, I came from a dad be home. So,
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't really too used to the crowd. Do you understand me? And my friends, most of them also came from like Church School, Christ the King. So we're all at the bees. Now, I'll say, because we were left alone for a considerable amount of time, we were vulnerable. And today I can say that not every student in every school has the agenda of becoming great in life. Some are agents. Do you understand where I'm coming from? And unfortunately for me, on that very day, that's the kind of person that I met. And he led me to wherever I went to do.
Okay, so your experience at Prosec. I mean, I was also in a boarding house, and I remember the first time.
What school did you go to?
St. Mary's.
Hey.
And so we have this whole thing going with the Prosec guys.
My sisters went to Mary's.
Okay.
Irama Koda.
Ah.
Yeah. And then Nanama, my sister. So Koda's wife, may he rest in peace, my little sister.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they all went to
That's a close knit right now.
Yeah.
But I remember the first time I went to St. Mary's with my trunk and all those things that I don't know if they still carry along, but we carried along to school. You get there and there's a registration booth or like a table where you sign in and all those things start and they take you to your dorm. Yeah. And there's so many of us. And I remember when I first entered my dormitory, that's when you start experiencing the seniors.
Exactly.
And so it was later in the evening of that same day. And then, I don't know the word to use, but the welcoming thing seniors do at boarding house. So Mary's had beers and, there's the bohonamintikum and all that. And I realized that, okay, that had started and we had a lot of freshers are, the new people who have come in. And I had a certain level of confidence about me. So I was like, okay, so this is it. And I thought my best defense was to act like I wasn't a fresher.
Really?
Because you don't know all the freshers, isn't it? So if I act like I'm not a fresher, you won't pick me out too quickly. So I remember seeing a fresher on the lobby and I'm like, why are you going? Why are you late? Hurry up, you should be in your dorm. So the people around were not too sure.
We were.
And so, but that was the time you start making your first batch of friends.
Yeah.
And so you feed around and see, okay, which one can I align myself with quickly and all that. In your case, when did the experience actually start? Was it immediately you arrived at the school? Was it from your dorm mates? Was it from your classmate? Was it from the seniors? How do you think your story started?
I think it started with my seniors, I was the type of guy, I mean, even when I was growing up, I never rode with my mates.
Okay.
I was rode with the bigger boys, I mean, I think it's because of my mindset,
the maturity level.
I saw my mates they couldn't reason with me. So I was, even from Tema, all the guys that I rode were bigger boys. So as soon as I got to the boarding house, I found comfort and reasoning with the older lot. You understand? Not my mates. Even though I was used to roll with them, we used to go to dining hall together and everything. But I mean, if I really wanted in-depth conversations and stuff, I go to my seniors. I'm talking about those that were in like Form 3, Form 4, and Form 5. And some of them also came from my neighborhood. So I used to just go and check them and then talk to them and stuff, And I realized what they were doing. I mean, there were times that you go and look for someone, they say, we're drowning or cut down. I was thinking, cut down. Which permission did he get? Because we've been told you're not allowed to go out. So all these things were building that curiosity in me, like, when I get to that form, can I do it? You understand? So I think that's where it started, really,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it means that from the mindset point, you realize that there were certain liberties that the seniors
Yeah, but
had.
I couldn't actually activate it till I get to a certain form.
Okay.
I mean, even though I was doing the little ones when I was in Form 1 and Form 2, that was normal.
What were the little ones?
Dodging prep,
Okay, yeah.
you understand, putting super glue in somebody's shoe and all that kind of things. You understand? It was minor, but the real one was, when you want to go out and do what you have to do.
Okay.
Yeah,
In your story, I know that, and for our viewers, we know that one of the issues you had to deal with a lot was with drugs.
Yeah.
Can you walk us into how that started? Because you said you were from a Daddy B home. You had a lot of Daddy B friends. Did you come into high school having experienced drugs before? Or it was a completely new, I mean, everyone has an awareness of it. But in terms of seeing, feeling, and experiencing it, did it start in high school or before?
Okay, so to the best of my knowledge, the closest I've come to drugs before entering Presec was watching Scarface.
Okay.
Seeing Tony Montana do what he was doing. That was it. I didn't know anything about drugs. And then I get to Presec, and you are in the dormitory, and a senior goes out, comes back, and he's smelling of a certain smell. I mean, all these things you're asking, what is this? What is this? You understand me? But like I said, okay, so it was a night, we just returned from prep, and I was putting things in my trunk. And I saw a group of seniors in one corner doing their thing, and I was curious. I mean, I went there and I asked them, hey, Zero, so what are you guys doing? And they were like, hey, we dey go town. Why, you want to go some? I was like, town? Form 3. Okay, let me try it. You don't mind if I talk about it now, yeah?
Yeah, please go on.
So I followed them, and then they took me to some bush in Medina. And that's when we sat down, and then this guy, they call him the pusher or whatever, gave them 2 rolls of cannabis, and they lit it, and they started like smoking it, and then they passed it to me. So when I pulled it, it didn't do me nothing. So I gave it back, and I was there, and then I said, oh, give it back to me. That next one was what got me. I had an explosion in my head. It's like a thunder, boom. Then I thought the ground was opening. I was looking for my shoes. I was wearing my shoes, but I was looking for them.
You started hallucinating.
Yeah, these were psychological effects of the cannabis that I was smoking. I started running. So they chased me, got hold of me, and then they took me back to the dormitory. And then I remember they gave me sugar solution, Gary soakings, and my senior brother was in Labonia. He was in Form 5 at the time. So I think they didn't tell him, but later he found out and he came. When he came, for some reason, I was asleep. I slept through the night, and I slept through the whole. I didn't even go for lessons the next day. And then I woke up. When I woke up, I could still feel the noises in my head and all that kind of. It took like 5 days before I was sober, and I vowed that I will never smoke that thing again. You understand? But I want you to understand something. You see, cannabis is a spiritual thing as well.
Okay.
As soon as you touch it, it opens your mind. You begin to see things differently and act differently. And I don't know if it's like a virgin breaking their virginity. They become a different person. So I started reasoning differently. I started seeing my friends differently. Now I've touched maybe the forbidden apple, so I thought I was a different person. But I vowed never to touch it. So when now I had, like, the lions had to go out, I'll go out, but then I was doing alcohol and cigarettes.
Okay.
Because I didn't want the experience of that cannabis effects anymore. You understand me? Until I left Presec. That story is a different thing. Bought my own ticket, got my own visa, left Presec, and went to the UK. That's when I started doing the cannabis there again.
Okay, so I would move into that part of your life, but there's something here that I want to explore. So I'm a mother, and I have kids.
Yeah.
And so I'm always very curious about how do vices start, and how do I mitigate it as much as I can. And I always tell them that every vice has a spirit behind it.
Exactly.
And if you're a person of faith, this is something you can't be ignorant about.
Exactly.
So if you are stealing, there is a spirit responsible for that
Yeah.
that will now find its dwelling around you. It takes root and it becomes difficult.
Exactly.
So I'm happy you mentioned that cannabis has a spirit, and that goes to everything around drugs, isn't it? So it's self-destruction, and that's the spirit that enables you to do that.
Thank you very much.
But you also said that you made a vow, and like most of us, we make vows when we try something out and we say, okay, no, I'm not going to do this again. But you have hinted to us that you ended up breaking the vow.
Yeah, yeah.
You also said that when you were going out now, you were doing alcohol and cigarettes. Were you already drinking before you got to Prosec?
No, I wasn't.
So it was still your engagement and your movement with this crowd
Yes.
that introduced you to this.
Yes.
What was it about them that interested you? This wasn't a habit you had before going to Prosec. Now you've been introduced to the habit, and I'm sure you had it at the back of your mind that this is not something my parents would be happy with, or it's not something I want to do myself. But why did you still go down that path?
Okay, so like I said, that be life. I haven't seen the hardness before. These guys were hard. I mean, come on, man. You find them sitting in the lawn, no shirts on, they're lifting weights, you know, when people are passing, girls are passing, they're hooting at them, you know, they're always causing trouble. And funny enough, they will do all that, but then they'll go and learn. And then when the results come, they'll blow. So it was like, wow, these guys are hard. That's what I wanted to be like.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Regardless of all the foolishness, we still come to sixth form. And that makes you even like a matter. You understand? It's like, Charlie, this guy be hard guy. You understand? So
you looked up to them then.
I looked up to them.
They were good academically. They knew what life was about.
Yes.
It was beautiful.
And I was coming from Tema, and I'm in Accra, and I've heard about Accra. So I want to explore Osu, Laboni, cantonments. I just want to just go and so I have something to say when I get back to the Tema boys.
You need to be able to report to your guys
Exactly.
that you have been through it, you've experienced the life. Okay.
Dollies, papaya, and all that kind of thing. So it's like, these were some of the things that moved me towards them.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed it.
And you also finished Prosec with good
Yeah,
grades.
I had aggregate 13. I missed distinction by 1.
Okay. Did your parents know or have hints? You mentioned your brother got to know.
Yeah.
How did your brother handle it?
My brother was cool. He was even doing worse.
Okay.
You understand? I mean, he wasn't smoking weed or anything, but he was a nighter. He used to go out every night. You find him in Mary's Motown. Kwame, where are you? He's there. He's a reverend minister now, and he's going to be watching this. So if my brother's doing it, I mean, I could do it.
So he was like, man, you're doing it, but chill out a bit.
Exactly.
That was okay.
He wouldn't even... My brother was somebody that he left me to do my thing. And he didn't really bother me about anything. Are you getting me? You know, so he was doing it. I was doing it. But I had this thing about me where I knew, because one day my dad came to school and found my Form 3 results, and it was down. And he promised me that if I don't make it up to him here, he's going to move me and take me to some school. He mentioned some school in the mountains. That was what scared me. And that day he left the school, I went and copied all my notes, started copying all my notes. I mean, I was going out, but I'll come back and I'll learn, secretly learning. I think that's, even when he went to take my O-level results, he couldn't believe it. He asked them again, are you sure this is for my son?
So by then, they had gotten hints of the kind of lifestyle you were living, okay?
Form 3, I come home now. I'm always out. I go to Brian's place, I go and drink beer, and then I come home. My mom will be complaining. One time, she found me smoking cigarettes, and she was like, who taught me? And I said, nobody. And then she started praying, crying, and all.
So your parents were people of faith?
My mom and my dad. I told you, my mom was a member of the Women's Aglow Fellowship. My dad was full gospel. But then they joined the Apostle General Mama Rita Royal House Chapel, then IBWC.
Okay.
Yeah, they used to report me to Mama Rita all the time, but I mean, she prayed, but I mean, I didn't get anywhere.
Okay.
You understand? Yeah.
So now you go to London.
Yeah. So I get to London. I stayed with my cousin. He came to Prosec from London. And then after O-levels, he went back. So when I got there, I stayed with him. Then I moved to my other cousin's house. His name's Chippy. You know, he was a bad boy. Yeah, he was a real gangster, you know. and he put me on the streets, you know. So I was going to university.
What does it mean to say you were put on the street?
I was put on the street, like, so let me roll the story. So
Okay.
I get to London. I first went to Wolverhampton Forest College. I did access to business. That's what got me into the university. Now, whilst I was doing this access course, I mean, that was just, I've already done the A-level, so it wasn't anything too hard for me. So what my cousin used to do is, he used to show me how to make money.
Okay.
He would give me the Class A drugs and show me where to stand in the corner.
What's a Class A drug?
Crack,
Okay.
powdered cocaine.
Okay.
And show me how to sell it, what to do when the police is coming, you know, the kind of people I should sell to, the kind of people I shouldn't sell to, because a policeman can just wear plain clothes and come and you sell it to him, you're going to jail. You know.
Please hold this for me. You lived with your cousin. Did your parents know about your cousin's lifestyle?
Not really. They didn't know. They didn't know.
But you knew.
And don't get me wrong, I didn't go to London with the permission of my parents.
Okay.
I ran away.
Right.
I got my visa and I showed it to my parents. They're like, now who you paying any crown choir? Who choir they on? And your results are not in after O levels, who choir they on? So that was my first. I told you, when you smoke cannabis, it changes you. So I ran from Ghana to UK. When I got to the airport, I called my auntie that I was there, and then she said, "Who are you?" I said, "It's Kwame." I even mentioned my big brother's name. And then she came and picked me, and when she saw, she said, yo, what are you doing here? That's when we got home and she called my dad, and my dad's like, the whole night they've been looking for me. So I stayed in London after the O-levels till second term, lower 6, and then I came back because I'd passed the O-levels. I mean, I need to come and finish. So when I came, I wasn't really thinking about education. I was just breezing through. And then after the A-levels, I went and got a visa again. I told Daddy, I want to go. He said, no, you need to stay and do your national service. One night, he was sleeping when I got my passport, I disappeared. And that was my 15 years in London.
When you were entering Presec, I'm going back a bit, what were you aspiring to be when you were going to high school? I know you said your mom said you should do business. In your mind, what life were you picturing for yourself?
My granddad was the assistant commissioner of police, and he loved me. And when I used to see his uniform, his sword and everything, I said, Granddad, I want to be like you, but I want to be the IGP. So at the back of my mind, I wanted to be a security officer. I was smart, detecting things at home, I was cunning. So I thought maybe if I go into the CID role and stuff, or maybe a military officer or something, And I love animals, so I thought I'll be a veterinary officer, but then in the force as well.
So it means you had a dream?
Oh yeah, I did.
Okay. So you ran away from home, you're back in London again, your auntie picks you up and you say, I'm going to live with my cousin. Yeah,
so my auntie, the rules in her house were too much for me. Don't wear earring, you understand? Don't pull your shorts down, turn the light off. I was getting upset all the time, you understand? So one day she came and I said to her, Auntie, I'm going to go and spend some time with KKD and then I'll come back. And she said, okay, give me his number. And then they called my cousin's mom, and then she said, okay, I can come. As soon as I got there, I made up my mind and I wasn't going to return. Then at KKD's house too, his mom was going on so I said, and I called my senior cousin, which is the cheapy guy that I said, he said, yeah, come join me. Because anytime he used to come to Ghana, we used to roll with him. I used to show him town and stuff, I mean, I was growing up to become somebody now. So, I mean, I used to show him town and everything. So when I was in London, he also wanted to pay me back.
Okay.
But he said to me, look, you can't be depending on your parents, £100 sending you money. You need to make the real money yourself. And this is how you're going to do it. And trust me, I saw it. And then I moved into university, and that's where the game changed. It was one hot afternoon, and this guy called Richie T, I remember him so much, man. He was a Jamaican guy. We were so close, but I didn't know what he used to do. He used to drive different cars all the time, and I was like, what does this guy really do? You understand? So one day, in the canteen, we were eating, and he said to me that, look, when we finish lectures, can we go to his house? So we went to his house, and then, lo and behold, his father was sitting there, and his father said, look, he's brought this amount of gear. When I say gear, I mean drugs from so-and-so country, and he wants us to distribute it. So Richard told him about me. So, I mean, do I want to do it? This is with my cut. This is how much I'm going to get. I should know that if I get caught, I should mention their names. And that's when everything took off.
So the money looked good.
I was seeing money. I was driving the best of cars. I mean, I had Porsches. I had everything. There was my jewelry. Sometimes, I mean, when I used to go out, I would go out like 30 man deep. Not me alone. Like we roll like an army. Everybody's jewelry and these attracted enemies. And coincidentally, one of my friends, Kobe, rest in peace. I mean, on a night out one day, when a pub, when an altercation came because of his jewelry, and they shot him point blank, killed him right in front of me. You know, that hit me. That hit me real bad. I realized that now something was not right. Something was not. I mean, this is not the life that my mom gave me. I mean, this is not what I told her I wanted to be.
So this is where the change started?
The change didn't start then. But
the seed was
spiraled
planted.
me it pushed me into drugs now, because now I've become paranoid. I'm thinking they're coming for me as well now. I mean, I have a lot of drugs around me. I have a lot of money around me. If they can do that to my friend, then they can do that to me. And I thought the only thing I could do was to smoke the crack more and become empowered. You know, when you smoke those kind of things, you feel superior. You understand? And now I'm always walking on the streets with like 2 guns on me, 2 in my car, 2 on me. I'm always strapped. Everywhere I go, I'm looking behind me.
Let's roll back a bit. You've been introduced. You're now selling drugs on the street. You're using it. But I want to get the moment where you said, I'm going to use the drug for you, because you had already made up your mind you were not even going to take cannabis. So was it when you were introduced to it to sell on the street that you said, okay, I need to taste it and see how it works before I sell?
So I'm glad that you want us to retract it. So London is cold. When I got there, like I said, I vowed I wasn't going to smoke cannabis, but my cousins were doing it. So then I said, I'll do it. So it was a casual thing. And when you smoke cannabis over there, you don't feel it like you feel it here. Here it's hot. I drink boom, 100, I want it. And we used to mix it with cigarettes, so it was kind of mild.
Okay.
You understand? So I was doing the occasional recreational smoking of cannabis, cigarette, alcohol, chilling and all that. But then I was not on crack then.
Okay.
So it was basically, and don't get me wrong, my cousin, I saw him smoking the crack.
Okay.
And he had a strong will. He would smoke for like 2-3 months and then he would stop it. So to me, when I started smoking, I thought I could just do the same. But don't get me wrong, never get high on your own supply. It don't work. That crack is a serious spirit. Once it gets into you, you're finished. You're finished. Turn into an animal. It destroys you. It lets you lose your respect. Everything that you've acquired over the years, everything comes spiraling down, and that'll be the end of you.
But you didn't see that with your cousin.
I didn't see that. He was strong. So I thought, the people that used to sell the crack to you, they will come scratching and doing all kinds of things. Somebody will even bring their daughter to you that, look, have sex with my daughter and give me 20 pounds. It was that bad. You understand? You be in the corner, somebody even bring a knife, want to stab you because they need the drug. I saw all these things, but I saw my cousin, so I thought there was a corporate side of the crack and there was a nitty-gritty side of the crack. I thought because I had money, I could control it. But rather, I was wrong. It controlled me. And it just messed up my life. I could stay in my house. I could stay in the house for like a week, not coming out. I was smoking. And when I come out, I see everything like people are coming for me. You understand me? I was always on the edge.
Did your cousin notice your downward spiral?
I'd moved out from him.
Okay.
I was living on my own.
You had the money to do that.
Yeah, what he was making me sell then when compared to
what the Jamaican knows.
Yes.
Okay.
I was bringing in, I don't want to mention the amount, but the amount of money that I was seeing was enough. And I always used to, I saw it like the Scarface movie. You understand? Like I told you, the only movie I'd watched. And that thing there, also we need to watch the kind of movies our kids watch. It had an impact on me as a child. And in my head, I wanted to be like him, more or less.
Okay.
Do you understand? When I got on the streets. Are you guys where I'm coming
Yeah.
from? Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's so, so the crack, the drugs messed me up.
Did the family plan any intervention for you during that period? When
Which family?
I know you had cut yourself off and you had moved, but was there any deliberate attempt to get you off this? Probably, I don't know, forcefully get you back to Ghana or something.
You couldn't handle me at the time.
Okay.
I was a big boy. I mean, my dad would call me and say, Pacho. My mom would call me Pacho. I mean, I earned that respect because I never, ever asked them for a dime.
Okay.
And everything that I used to come to Ghana, the things that I would bring from it, I mean, at my age, I was doing very well for myself. So they saw me like, where they say, well, you know what I mean? I had dreams of doing big things in Ghana and all that. So they never, and even, they didn't even know I was on the drugs.
Okay.
It was my auntie, when I got kidnapped one day by some thugs, demanding money and drugs from me, that they'd beaten me so much that they took me to my auntie's house because I told them that's where the stash was. But they didn't know that I had other phone on me, so I'd already called my auntie. So when we got there, the police were waiting for them. So as soon as I saw the police, they pushed me out, and then I nearly died. They beat me so hard. You understand? That's when my auntie said, hey, y'all, why? And then I think she called my mom. And my mom started her prayers. Praying for me. I don't know, but I mean, I could feel it. I could feel there was a force fighting another force. Do you understand me? It was a battle, and it was all by the grace of God that I wasn't touched,
But the interesting thing for me is you see your friend die. It plants a seed in your head that I'm not doing this right. But that seed didn't start your process of recovery then, as you know it. It rather pushed you in deeper.
Yeah.
And I think that's a conflict that most people need to appreciate, isn't it? Where we think that in people's experience or bibituna obejai and all that, we think that immediately something bad happens, that would start the person's recovery. It doesn't necessarily do that. It can push the person in even more.
So you're looking at the emotional side of it.
Yeah.
The psychological side of it. So he was someone that was very close to me. And there he was gone. I used to have countless amount of dreams about him coming to visit me and all that. And I felt it, and I thought that being on drugs will make me more daring and more fierce, to do anything that I want, because I didn't know where the next one was coming from. You understand? So rather for it to shake me and make me look back and say, look, stop these nonsense, probably get your life together and go back to Ghana or something, I rather went deeper.
That for me is just such a vital point that people need to know, that the issues or the dangers that one experiences in their journey may rather impact their addiction or push them down the slope even further than we expect it to be. But you said you could feel your mom's prayer.
Yeah.
There's something you said in your conversation that I want us to stay on a bit. You said you could feel your mom praying for you. I know that it's going to be hard to explain the feeling of someone praying for you, but do you think you can touch on it a bit for us? If this episode stirs something in you, we invite you to share it with a friend. Subscribe and stay connected with us each week as we dig deeper into faith that is real, relevant, and rooted. You can also comment or send us a mail at podcast@jubileegrouplbg.com. A very special thank you to our sponsors whose generous support helps make this podcast possible. We are especially grateful to Alice Couture for my beautiful costume, and to Yogi Yogurt by Customer Foods for partnering with us to bring hope and truth to listeners like you. You can find Ellis Couture on Instagram at Ellis Couture GH. And for your ghee yogurt, check out Impact Food Hub at Impact Food Hub on Instagram. Until next time, keep the faith and keep growing. God bless you.